Did you know that if you save just $5 a day, that adds up to $1,825 in a year? That's a round trip to Europe, or a decent used car, or even a down payment on a house. Now let's talk about frugal living. It isn't about depriving yourself of life's pleasures. It's about making smart, calculated decisions that help you save money and reach your financial goals faster. Picture this. I once challenged myself to set aside $5 a day. At first it seemed like a trivial amount, but as days turned into weeks and weeks into months, I began to see a surprising amount accumulate. That small daily saving turned into a substantial nest egg over time. The truth about frugal living is that it's surprisingly powerful. Small changes consistently made can have a huge impact on your financial future. So now you're probably wondering, how did I manage to live frugally for an entire month? As someone who loves a challenge, I decided to take on a frugal November. That meant cutting back on all non-essential spending for 30 days. An ambitious venture, you'd agree. But let's dive into the specifics of what this really entails. The rules of the challenge were straightforward, yet daunting. Essentials were defined as basic needs such as groceries, rent, utilities, and necessary transportation costs. Everything else fell into the category of non-essential spending, including dining out, online shopping, and that daily coffee run. Now, let me share a little story about the first day of the challenge. It was a typical Monday, and as always, I woke up craving my usual cup of cappuccino from the local cafe, a non-essential expense. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee usually kickstarts my day, but this time, it was a homemade cup of joe. It was a small, yet significant change, a tiny victory of willpower over habit. But the day wasn't without its share of trials. As I scrolled through my social media feed during lunch, I came across an advertisement for a new book from my favorite author. Clicking the Buy Now button was an almost automatic response. But then, the challenge. I had to remind myself of the commitment I made to my frugal November. It was an internal struggle, a tug of war between desire and discipline. And then there was the dinner. My friends invited me to try out a new restaurant in town. Under normal circumstances, I would have jumped at the opportunity. But this time, I had to politely decline, reminding myself that every dollar saved was a step closer to my goal. Despite the initial challenges, I was determined to stick to my plan. The first day had thrown its curveballs, but I had dodged them successfully. However, I was under no illusion that the rest of the month would be a walk in the park. As the days went on, the challenges only increased. Living frugally isn't easy, especially when you're surrounded by temptation. But it's in overcoming these challenges that the real triumphs emerge. In the early days of the month, the call of my favorite restaurant was almost too much to resist. The aroma of their hot pizza, the taste of their creamy pasta, it was also tantalizing. But I held strong, reminding myself of my commitment to this frugal November challenge. Instead, I whipped up a delicious homemade meal, using ingredients I had in my kitchen. Not only did I save a few bucks, but I also discovered a new recipe that's now a staple in my home. Another challenge was the lure of online shopping. With the holiday season approaching, it was hard to resist the shimmering sales and discounts. But as I hovered over the Buy Now button, I paused and asked myself, do I really need this? More often than not, the answer was no. The triumph here was not just in the money saved, but also in the realization that I already had everything I needed. But this journey wasn't just about overcoming challenges. It was also about finding joy in the little things. During this month, I found creative ways to have fun without spending a dime. I started hiking in the local park, exploring the beauty of nature right on my doorstep. I rekindled my love for reading, diving into the books that had been gathering dust on my shelves. I even hosted a potluck dinner with friends, where we all brought a dish and had a great time. As the month came to a close, I realized that living frugally wasn't just about saving money, but also about learning to appreciate what I already have. I discovered that life's simple pleasures often don't come with a price tag, and that, my friends, is truly priceless. So, After a month of frugal living, what was the result? Did I become a millionaire overnight? Well, not quite. The financial outcome of my frugal November was, in fact, quite significant. I managed to save a considerable chunk of my income, more than I had initially anticipated. Let's say I was pleasantly surprised by the amount that accumulated in my savings account over the course of 30 days. It was not a fortune, but it was a step in the right direction towards financial independence. But the monetary savings were only a fraction of the rewards I reaped. The real treasure was the wealth of personal lessons that I learned. The first one was about the value of money. Before, I used to see money as just a means to buy stuff. But after this experiment, I saw it as a tool, a resource that can provide comfort, security, and opportunities if used wisely. The second lesson revolved around mindful spending. I realized that a lot of my previous spending was impulsive or unnecessary. I was buying things not because I needed them, but because I wanted them or because they were on sale. This frugal November taught me to distinguish between my needs and wants, to question every purchase, and to understand that I don't have to spend money to enjoy life. Lastly, I learned about the importance of planning and self-discipline. I discovered that a well-thought-out budget is not restrictive, but rather liberating. It gave me a sense of control over my finances and reduced my stress levels. And self-discipline? Oh boy, that was a tough one. It was challenging to resist the temptations, but the sense of accomplishment at the end was worth the struggle. While I may not have become a millionaire, I learned some valuable lessons that will stay with me for a lifetime. So, what's next? Will I continue living frugally, or will I go back to my old spending habits? As we close this frugal November, a question lingers. Will the frugal lifestyle endure beyond this month? Absolutely. The lessons learned were invaluable. The sense of financial freedom, the joy of being resourceful, and the thrill of saving more than expected are too precious to let go. The frugal lifestyle doesn't mean sacrificing quality of life. It's about making smarter choices, being creative, and prioritizing what truly matters. And guess what? You can do it too. Embrace the challenge, try it for a month, and witness the transformation in your financial health and general well-being. I'd love to hear from you. How do you plan to implement these budgeting tips in your own life? Don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, every penny saved is a penny earned. Check out my next video that YouTube suggests, and I'll see you on the other side.